All right, my most amazing artists, today you are going to be drawing a lighthouse. And this is what I am kind of going for. So we are going to start towards the top and work our way down. We'll include a little house, and we are not going to include the background today, just the lighthouse. So let's get started. The first thing that I would do, I'm gonna draw in Sharpie. You can use pencil if you'd like, so that you can erase if needed. But remember, today is just practice, so don't worry about it. So like I said, we're gonna start towards the top. And what I would do is I'd leave a little bit of space at the very top. I'm going to start by drawing a rounded triangle shape. And what I mean by that is my edges are not pointy, they are rounded. So go ahead and start there. From there, we will draw two lines coming down and just a little bit inward. Let's curve that off to complete the shape. And now we have another set of two lines coming straight down. Good. From there, let's draw a line. Look at this line, by the way. It's going to be like curving up just a tiny, tiny bit. That's going to help give it a three-dimensional look. And bring those lines a little bit in, so down and just a tiny bit in. Then we will close that shape off. From there, do two small lines that curve inward. And close that shape off. It kind of looks like a small rectangle. And from here, we're going to draw a longer line. And this is where it would be helpful to have a pencil, because we're going to draw the house. And as you can see, the house is in front of the lighthouse. So we can't see like this line going all the way down because the house is in the way. So I'm gonna pretend that the house is in the way just by stopping my line a little bit short. But for you, if it helps, you can drag it all the way down. When we draw the house in front of that area, you'll just erase that line like right here in that section. All right. From there, we're going to draw the same thing that we did with that that slight curve upward. Do a slight curve upward at that end right there, just a very tiny curve upward. And I'm gonna stop here because once again, we have the house in the way. Okay, but this side can come down. And I'm just gonna leave it kind of open-ended right now because I don't know how my house will fill in yet. All right, now we're going to start adding in some details. We're going to add in some of these stripes that'll be in this area representing different levels of the lighthouse. Look at how my lines are slightly curving upward, very slightly. I want you to do the same. That's going to give your lighthouse a rounded and curved effect to make it look three-dimensional. Let's do it again. And once again, I'm just going to do another curve, but I'm going to stop here, and I have to fill in my house later. I don't want to do that just yet. All right, we are really just adding details at this point. Let's go back to the top. At the very top, add two lines coming up and a circle on top. Right below that triangle, we're going to add lines coming down. Now this part might be a little bit tricky, so watch carefully. We're going to add a railing. The railing is going to be on this first slightly curved line that we drew. It's going to be right on top of that. Now watch how I do it. Let's start by drawing another slightly curved line right above it. That's the hand railing part. From there, we're just going to draw lines that come down repeatedly. Okay, in this little tiny rectangular area, we're going to add lines. Watch how I make my lines. The first one in the middle is straight. And then as I move towards one side, I'm going to make them slightly diagonal. And then straighten them back out as I get towards the center. Same thing over here. Slightly diagonal and then straighten them back out as I get towards the center. Let's do lines on some of our stripes in the tower. These lines are just going to run, oops, I should have curved that a little bit more. These lines are going to run just downward. And you can do it over here as well. But I'm gonna leave the area for my house open. Once again, I'm not sure how that's going to look. I'll add that in last, I think. Okay. We are going to add some doors to the blank spaces. And those things can just look like a rainbow shape. Two rainbow shapes, one of them is filled in. And do the same thing on the next level. At this point, I'm gonna make some lines that continue to help make my lighthouse look three-dimensional. So on this triangular part, watch what I do. I'm gonna make lines that kind of run, they run horizontally, but they run longer at the bottom and then they get a little shorter towards the top. Same thing on some of these other blank rectangles. And then sometimes you can run the lines going downward as well as sideways. That's called cross-hatching right there, because our lines are going vertical and horizontal. And I'm going to do a little bit of cross-hatching right there and right here. Now let's draw that house that we've been talking about. I think I'll start with the roof of the house. Yeah, let's start with the roof. I'm gonna put my roof of my house a little bit farther away from the lighthouse, kind of like where this line ends. And I'm just going to draw a straight line that's going horizontal. From that line, let's draw two diagonal lines. This is going to be the front of the house. From those, let's draw another horizontal line matching parallel, running parallel with the one above it, and make it a little bit longer than that one above it. Adding a diagonal line to close off that shape. These lines are going to run straight down that I'm about to draw. Let's draw two lines to create the side of the house. And a bottom line to close it off. From here, I'm going to take a line that's connected to this diagonal line for the front of the house and draw straight down. And in order to connect these shapes, I'm going to draw like a door. So like a small rectangle that ends up connecting back. In order to make this roof look a little more three-dimensional, I'm going to draw another line that runs parallel to this first diagonal line. And let's just add some details to the house at this point. Lines on the roof. Maybe there's a chimney or two. Maybe something's coming out of the chimney. Some windows. And at this point, I have to finish connecting anything that was left undone for my lighthouse. Because I held off doing it because of the house. I'm gonna have the house just sitting on a small hill. You cannot really see too well. And if you want to start drawing a background, you can. The most important thing is we practice drawing the lighthouse today. So I'll fast forward through my background.